Hey there, this is Oz, me and my aspergers. And before I get started, there's my latest video, the previous one. It's, what was that title? Oh, they want us to believe it is not the guns. Something to that effect. Um, I put it up, and when I went back and looked at it, I normally do these in the morning, early afternoon, and that one was done, I think, 10, 11 o'clock at night. There is some serious blinking going on because it was late in the day, getting ready to go to bed. I watched it, definitely noticed that, was gonna redo it, and I just said, leave it up. It looks funny, weird, whatever. Anyway, so just wanted to make that note. This one is quick. Watch a lot of YouTube videos, and had been watching one. They wanted to know where all of the vitriol from the evangelical right, Christian church, where that's all coming from. You've got people that supposedly believe in God. They, are very quick to say they're Christians, and yet they are doing things and saying things that are really not very Christian-like. And just going to give my take on this. I used to watch a lot of tennis. I had cable, so I could watch the early rounds of the Grand Slams. And then when it flipped over to prime time, could go and watch those matches as well. But I remember there was a tennis player, Mary Pierce. She wasn't really one of my favorites. She was kind of up there. I was more Steffi Graf, Monica Seles, definitely the Williams sisters when they came on the scene. So Mary Pierce, she was, I don't know, she just kind of very small, thin, frail looking. And this was an early round match. I believe it was the US Open. And one of the commentators commented on how gracious she was being in this match. And I will never forget, Mary Carrillo was there in the booth with this person at the time, and she immediately just chimed in with, "It is very easy to be gracious when you are winning." And wow, that just resonated with me. And I think it's very applicable to the point of what's going on in the US right now. The question, keeps getting asked, well, where did this come from, and why is it happening, and just all of the vitriol and the hate and the just everybody seems to be wanting to fight one another. And I remember when Biden won and everybody was rejoicing and they were happy. It's like, yeah, we did it. And anytime I get into a conversation with anyone about that, I always say, hold on, what about Are you forgetting about the 72, 74 million people who voted for him the second time? And it's kind of like, that's a big number. That's a very big number for people to vote for someone after they had been in office for 4 years. They saw what they were all about, and they said, yeah, we want 4 more years of that. That's a very scary number. Yes, Biden won, but where, 74 million people that wanted him again? So, yeah. Anyway, the being able to be gracious and while you're winning, I'm using that in the sense of the years, the generations, the centuries that descendants of the plantation owners have lived their lives, being able to be gracious because they were winning. You've got pretty much everything going in your favor. So, I mean, Civil War was all about slavery. We've got some candidates who, I don't know, are not aware of that fact, but do not want to state that fact, but there it is. You had the very tumultuous uproar before, I believe it was World War II, over fascism, with a great many people in this country wanting us to fight on the side of Germany. So here we are again. And what's happening now, it's not that it's a new thing, and particularly with the evangelicals, the Christians, supposedly people who believe in God, doing things and acting the way they do, falls back to they were actually never loving, never gracious. When you're living a life for generations that's based on hate and deceit, when you become confronted when that's kind of brought up to your face, and people are like saying, look, this is where that all comes from back there, and you have no support for your humanity, for who you are, yeah, you're going to crumble. You're going to... Oprah Winfrey said something once, and I know she's under fire these days, but she said there are only two emotions, basically, for life. You are either living your life from love, or you're living it from hate, from fear. So, Christians who are supposed to be loving people, a lot of them, for the reasons that I stated, are living their life in fear. But because they're Christians and they go to church every Sunday, they can delude themselves with, I'm a loving person. And again, like I said, generations and generations of hate and lies and fear. There's no support for your humanity, for who you are. So somebody kind of presents something to you that says, well, no, that's not how it is. You crumble because there's no, you don't have a foundation upon which your life has been built. And I'm talking about your inner life as a person, who you are. There is something in this country where since I was in my teens, it's like self-awareness. There's no discussion of well, not to the numbers, to the masses. No discussion of that, the importance of that. You know, it's kind of like the thing when you're on the plane and they're instructing you, if there's an emergency, you put your mask on before you help someone else. And that's kind of a life lesson. You know, you have a lot of people that are, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to be that. Well, in most cases, if not all cases, those are things that they need to do, that they are not doing for themselves, but they want you to do it. Well, if they focused on they themselves doing it, it would be less of a deal. But anyway, so for years and years and years and years, generations, they've lived their lives. It's been passed on, passed down, that we're just wonderful. We're just wonderful, and everything that happens to us is supposed to happen, and where we are, we're supposed to be here. Without any look inside. Who am I? Do I deserve this? Did I have anything to do with this? Those kind of introspective kind of questions that they obviously were not asking themselves. It's here. Somebody else gave it to me. It's mine to hold on to and to enjoy. So the question of where it came from and why did it just spring up now? No, it didn't just spring up now. It's been there for a long time. It was just that, for the most part, these people were able to be gracious because they were winning. That simple.